And welcome to another edition of South Texas Crossfire. This is Attorney Joe Flores reminding you to join us each and every week right here on KTMV with the Lopez family. Special thanks to Don Humberto Lozano Lopez and Carlos Lopez. You guessed it, the Ted Turner of Latino broadcasting. With me right now, as you all know, we're having a water crisis, and this is not something that's just going to go away overnight, but we're dealing with it and we're trying to get through it. But we also have some very important information from a preeminent lawyer, University of Houston graduate from law school, and also nationally recognized. He has one of the biggest verdicts in the United States history, and that's Craig Seco and his law firm. Good morning, Craig. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Joe?
Doing great. Craig, the reason I'm calling is that our legal team and our researchers saw that you filed what's called a TRO in County Court at Law Number 1 yesterday here in Nueces County. Can you tell our viewers what a TRO exactly does or tries to do?
Certainly. It's a temporary restraining order. And what we did is we chose not to file a lawsuit for damages of any kind just yet. What we wanted to do is be responsible, and we want to investigate things. In order to do that, we wanted to make sure that Aragon and Valero and others that are involved don't change or manipulate the evidence without at least giving us the opportunity to be there to record it to understand what's going on. The court agreed with us on that and entered the temporary restraining order about 1 p.m. yesterday.
And that was in Judge Robert Vargas's court in County Court at Law Number 1. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Let's zoom in a little bit on your motion, and Dave is going to be zooming in on it as well, for Water Street. And this is the same Water Street, that delicious food and that big attraction for a lot of tourists, isn't it?
Absolutely. Water Street's a Corpus Christi institution, and along with the two that are listed there, we have dozens of other clients who've already engaged us to look into these claims for them and determine if there's something there. Obviously, like I said, we're trying to be responsible, but people are suffering. It's a very difficult time of year. There's significant economic loss to many small businesses in our community.
Well, and looking at this, we've got Valero Refining LP and Ergon Asphalt. Dave, if you can zoom in on that, asphalt and emulsions, we're going to be looking at that kind of scrolling up your screen, and its agents and representatives. Now, talk to us a little bit about what you know so far. I know it's just coming in and the information you're just gathering, and it's just in its infancy, the start of this, but you do know a lot already. Valero Refining, and what's the relationship between Valero and Ergon Asphalt and Emulsions?
Well, and like you said, we're at the beginning of this, but here's what we understand. Valero is the property owner. It's actually real estate owned by Valero, and it is leased out to Aragon. Aragon is an asphalt production organization, and the particular chemicals involved, the indolin AA86, is an emulsifier, which basically is a way to take components of the asphalt we see on the street and make them hold together. And that's the material that actually leaked into our water system, causing this crisis.
Okay, and so when we have this, my understanding, I've interviewed a few business owners, and they're not exactly happy right now. They're indicating that they had to shut down yesterday. They had to shut down today. Many businesses are closed, and we are the 16th, I believe, already. So we're day 2 into this crisis. What sort of damages are you hearing economically that these business owners, hotels, restaurants, anybody using water? I'm talking to people calling in right now from surgical centers. If you have any questions for Mr. Seco, call in 887-8670, 887-8670 right now. What are you hearing? What kind of concerns do business owners have?
Well, I mean, the general concern has been this. We don't have transparency in this situation. Apparently, what we're beginning to learn is that this exposure has been going on for longer than the last 2 days. That there were people on notice that there was a potential to have chemicals in the water. May have been Monday, it may have been before that time. But all we're learning at this, I should say all we really know at this time is that it's out there currently, and they don't know what they're going to do to deplete it completely. The business owners that I've talked to were disturbed by the fact that once it was recognized to be a problem, then we were not, there was no disclosure as to who was responsible or even involved. And that brings people a great deal of concern, lots of unanswered questions. If they're not going to tell us originally who was involved, how long it's been happening, how do we determine what kind of additional damage may exist?
And you're right. A lot of people, I'm hearing the same thing. And OSHA, the indolent AA86 component that you're talking about, I think that's one of those, if it leaks out there, it can cause respiratory tract, eye, skin burns, things like that. But the more immediate problem is the economic problem. We have a tourism industry that is huge, that is being basically crippled right now. What can you tell the people out there that are business owners that may want to contact you as far as what can they do to try to mitigate or try to minimize the damage this is causing?
This is the unfortunate reality. There's probably not much any of them can do. They need to keep track of what their losses are if they want to make a claim at some point. But with the reality for us is you're in the you're in the holiday season. If you're in the hospitality business in particular, you've got holiday parties, you've got catering, all that's canceled. Your employees that are largely dependent on tips as their wages, they're not getting them at all. So this is devastating not only to the business owners, but to those people that rely on them and are employed by them.
Well, and I've got right now, scrolling up, we've got some people calling in through our media and Twitter accounts that are hotel people that we are going to get on here when we sign off with you at 887-8670. And also, if you have any questions incoming for Mr. Craig Seco, preeminent lawyer, national practice Seco, the Seco law firm, along with his other partners that we're looking at, that Craig has been a long-time friend of mine, and he is trying to help people out here, ladies and gentlemen. So if you do have any sort of questions, you can contact him, and we'll put you in contact with him. 887-8670 if you have any questions. If you have a business, if you've suffered economic loss, call in right now, and we can try to get you some questions answered, because this is very acute. Any final words, Craig, before we sign off with you? We really appreciate your time. I know you just landed in Houston and you're doing some other legal work, but you've got a full-scale, full-time law firm here in Corpus, of course, that you started out here and you've raised your family. Anything else you want to tell those business owners out there, hotel owners, restaurant owners, salon owners, car washes, anybody out there who's been affected by this?
Yes, I would. I'd like to tell them, but I know that our local government is telling us we're going to get through this, and of course we will. The people of Corpus are strong. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't be looking for those that are responsible. This isn't like water boils or other things that are the municipalities having issues. This is somebody's negligence that has led really to direct and very unfortunate economic loss in our community. I think it's probably one of the most critical and pivotal times of the year. Lots of folks, of course, have got family trying to return home, kids from college, all kinds of things, and this is just very disappointing. We're here to help, certainly here to provide any answers that anybody would like.
Well, and thank you for stopping by here by telephone. We appreciate it. We know you're a busy guy. And the last thing, just before we left, you said something very critical that kind of stuck in my gut, was you said this isn't the first time that these leaks may have happened. In fact, you said it may have been going on longer than what has been disclosed right now. What did you mean by that?
Well, and I may not have been as clear as I need to be. I won't say it's multiple times. I just think that we're beginning to hear, and it's unconfirmed, that as early as Monday of this week, and perhaps even before that, reports were made of this particular incident to those who may ultimately be responsible.
Oh, boy. Okay, well, Craig Seco, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions for him, call right now, 887-8670. That's 887-8670. Thank you, Craig, for stopping by. We really appreciate it. Craig Seco, ladies and gentlemen, preeminent lawyer here, national attorney, is the gentleman who obtained the largest verdict, $150 billion in American history, the largest. And I thank you for taking the time for us, Craig. You're always a great friend to the community and helping us out. And business owners, please give us a call if you have any questions for Mr. Seco, 887-8670. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Okay. God bless you. we're back after a brief break. You're watching South Texas Crossfire. With me is Houston and Corpus Christi attorney Steve Kerrigan. Steve is this is the guy. He is certified in personal injury. He knows what he's talking about. Great reputation. He's been around for a long time, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Steve. How are you?
Good morning, Joe, and thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Well, Steve, I wanted to just commend you, all the work you've done over the years for people, helping them out. Right now, we've got a water crisis, and as you informed me this morning, Valero Refining of Texas and Ergon Asphalt and Emulsions, they may have had some sort of leak. We don't have all the information right now. I just based on the information you've been providing me and your investigation, I went ahead and called up the town fathers. I called up Abel Herrero, and as we know, there is some litigation already, some things on file. You are planning to also file, but you're getting more information. I've heard that people are wanting to call you up, hotel owners, restaurant owners, people who run washers and dryer sort of businesses, anybody that has a salon, dentists. The list goes on, and the phone's been blowing up this morning. Steve, tell us a little bit about your position on this water crisis and how you would hold these people accountable.
Well, Joe, it's a very timely phone call. I just got through with yet another meeting with a small business owner here in our wonderful community, and just telling me and hearing the same story. They're just shell-shocked and trying to recover from this, Joe, and it has definitely set all of them back. And as you are, Joe, I'm a small business owner myself, so I just can feel their pain and what they're going through. And yes, we are watching and digging deeper and definitely planning our game plan for our clients.
Well, and you mentioned in one of the what you're planning to do there, that you have got numerous business and individuals calling you, including restaurant owners, dentists, beauty salons, like you said, car washes, everybody else, and we're in a tourist industry. How does something like this economically impact a city like Corpus Christi of 320,000 people?
Well, I haven't seen specific numbers, Joe, and obviously it's ongoing, but the damage to the individual businesses, the damage collectively to this wonderful community, it's just untold. And again, it is just now unfolding. We don't know yet what the long-lasting damage will be to tarnish to the reputation. So it is just a horrific story that continues to unfold.
Well, and let me ask you this: as a personal injury attorney, a lot of the time you have to prove up economic damages or how people lost money. So these restaurant owners, hotel people, and if you have a question for Steve, call 887-8670 right now, 887-8670, and Steve can answer your question. But getting back to that, some of them said, well, they're going to say that I didn't lose any money, that nothing happened. So how would you tell them to preserve evidence, or what do they do? Keep receipts or their accounts receivable for the day, and compare to the last week or the same time last year, what they made? I mean, how do people keep track of how they're losing money?
Well, Joe, you just as you sometimes do in your wonderful way, answered that question with your question, but all of the above. But I will tell you, Joe, that the folks I'm meeting with, the business owners, the hotels, the restaurants, just got through the meeting with a beauty salon owner and another one with a barbershop owner. I'm not hearing anyone that is saying that they have not been impacted and greatly impacted for that matter. And they have opened up their books and showed me, and the people that had to both be laid off and come in to help support the purchases of water, the creative way mitigated as best as possible. But to the person and the business owner, regardless of the type of business or industry, to the one, they have just told me how much this has set them back, continues to do so, and they just don't know what the next several days will be like, next weeks will be like, or even the next several months.
Well, and we've got people calling in. We just got a salon right now. We've got our Twitter and Facebook up, and we had somebody calling and said that they need information. And so if you've got a question for Steve, 361-887-8670, and they are calling indicating that they have suffered damages. They basically, Mr. Salinas called in and said he's got a salon, and said that a grooming boutique, and that he's suffered immensely. So said that he basically had to just shut down, lost thousands of dollars of potential revenue yesterday. So this is extremely, it looks like going across the board from dentists to surgical centers to everybody else, a day or two can cripple a business. Anything else you'd like to add? I know that you're a busy guy, you've got some other clients waiting, but anything you'd want to tell these business owners and these entrepreneurs?
Well, again, just what you said, Joe, God bless you, hang in there, but seek legal advice, seek legal assistance. But as you stated, Joe, keep the business ledgers, keep your receipts, keep a list of clients and customers that have called in and canceled, or that have requested refunds, or concerned about coming here to Corpus Christi, or coming into your shop or your business, and the employees that have been affected, and so on and so forth. But yes, there are great folks like you, Joe, that are out here to help you, and please enlist that legal assistance. You need it. This is something that is very real, and don't hesitate.
Well, and thank you again, Steve Carrigan. He's a board-certified personal injury lawyer and trial lawyer, and double threat. And he backs it up, and he's been in court for many years. His practice spans Houston down to the Valley, and we want to make sure that people know that there are individuals, especially these business owners that are generally conservative, Steve, that don't believe in jackpot justice, etc., and they believed in a lot of things, in tort reform. But now when you feel the bottom line, I think this community's come together. I think even the right wing extremists that are kind of not, ironically, with lawyers, now they want one, and they're saying, hey, I'm out of money and this is a real lawsuit, so I commend them for kind of seeing the light and saying, I'm losing money, it's not fair, this is really something that we can prove up. So I commend you, Steve. I know that you've got to go, but if you can bear with us here in a minute with callers that are on the line, 887-8670. If you can be on standby, Steve, we'll let you go there. But if you can have you on standby, remember that number. And we're back after a brief break. You're watching South Texas Crossfire. We've had a couple of attorneys come on, and we are fixing to finish this broadcast right now, but we were also underlining the fact that we have a water crisis. This would not be something that I would ordinarily be doing a television show on, but this has happened already the fourth time in a 12-month span. We're not pointing fingers or we're trying to be a negative influence. Actually, we're trying to educate people. As a nurse practitioner for 18 years and as an RN for over 25 years, I'm looking at the public health issues. I've talked to nurse practitioners, physicians. We've talked to people with public health backgrounds, and they're all saying the same thing, that it was even dangerous to touch the water because we don't know what's going on. This is something that's inexcusable. We have to fix it. Our water system is broke. The infrastructure in America is broke. This has ramifications not only for South Texas, but for the nation. A lot of our infrastructure, the plumbing, a lot of the cast iron that's been there for a while, this has been eroding. This needs to be fixed. We have miles and miles of plumbing underground that can be affected. Our children are affected, our seniors, and people are saying, well, come on over to our station at Greenwood, and that's very nice, at Ovell Williams, and all these places. But what about all of those people that are homebound, that people like my wife take care of that is an RN, that can't get out of the house? The most vulnerable in our society, babies, children that can't get out. And we're getting incoming calls right now, questions on this from economic people that have suffered economic loss. We've got business owners that say, who's going to compensate me for having to shut down for a day or two? People that live week by week, that have employees that have to pay their bills, restaurant owners, hotel owners, dentists. We've got people that have salons. These people all have lost money and continue to lose money as this crisis continues. What bothers me also is there was indicating, you heard from some of the best trial attorneys in the nation, you've heard that people may have known about this contamination days before it started. We've even had Aaron Brockovich weigh in on YouTube and indicate that people need to ask for transparency from their leaders. And I appreciate that the city council has met on this 4 times during when the crisis started. But people are outside picketing. People are saying profits over people is what's going on. We do have a great industry here that creates many jobs, but along with that comes a lot of responsibility, and that means working with our version of the EPA here in Texas, and also with OSHA, occupational safety hazard. And we're also looking at trying to defend those that don't have a voice. We don't know if there's going to be any litigation about personal injury, and this is not right now about personal injuries, eyes, itching, things like that. But if you do have any conditions that you've suffered from a healthcare perspective, document that. Take pictures of the rashes you develop or anything like that that may occur. We don't know if you'd have any relief in court on that, but we're looking into more of interviewing business owners, people that have suffered from damages from having this type of thing happen to them. And we may interview a business owner right now. I'm going to try to reach out to him. But I do want people to know out there that your voice matters, and that if you're a business owner and that you have to pay taxes, get up in the morning and make coffee, leave off the kids, and then you go and employ people, no matter if it's a 1 employee or 100 or 1,000. Hospitals, clinics. Physicians have suffered. All my brothers and sisters in healthcare that have their businesses have suffered from this. So December 14th, 15th, 16th, at least that we know of, and it may go on and on. We don't know if this is going to get under control or not, but you have suffered economic damage. The one thing that you can do, and this is not legal advice or a contract, I'm just telling you now, putting on my lawyer hat, that what you can do is document the money that you've lost. Document, compare, if you're a restaurant owner, what your accounts in were, say the last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday that you had, and also compare last year's revenue, and that's one way to do it. Hotels, people are leaving right now because 50% of one of the hotel guys that called up and told us on our show was, Mr. Flores, people left, like 30 people left my hotel. I mean, that's revenue in the thousands just for one day. I've had reservations canceled. That I still have to pay my employees. So not only did you lose the potential revenue, but you also still have to eat the cost of paying for your maids, for your front desk help, for people that are operators and people that handle reservations, for the cooks, the chefs, everything. So people are losing a lot of money because of this, and this is a tourism industry. This is likened to BP oil spill in a way where people may have lost money for months. This may be weeks not just days. So keep that in mind. If you have any questions or concerns or just want to make comments, 887-8670, 887-8670, South Texas Crossfire. You can leave your comments. If you're a business owner or if you have suffered economic damage or losses, call us up. And you can also Facebook us. You can Facebook me at Joe Flores. Link on KTMV Broadcasting. Friend us, KTMV Lopez Broadcasting or Carlos Lopez, and then you'll find me, Joe Flores, on there and link up. And we appreciate any input that you have. As concerned citizens, also, we want to hear from you about how you feel about the water and the water that you can't even boil this time. So get on Facebook. We're going to be putting that on there. Let your voice be heard. And we want to thank Diamond Dave, as always, 563-0096, 563-0096, for always making it happen. And our 14th season, bringing on public service messages. Again, right now we're dealing with a water crisis, and if this show plays in January, February, March, April, next year, all of 2017, this is history being made right here. The worst contamination and safety hazard that we've had in years here, and this is our fourth water situation in 1 year in Corpus Christi, and it shouldn't be like this in America. We need to get a plan, and we all need to unite and work together. So this is Attorney Joe Flores, 887-8670. And we're back after a brief break, and you're watching South Texas Crossfire. The phones are just blowing up right now. We're dealing with a water crisis. We're getting dentists, doctors, we're getting restaurant owners, we're getting beauty salons, and we have Robert Salinas from Grooming Boutique with us, one of the business owners that has been impacted severely by this water crisis. Good morning, Mr. Salinas. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Salinas. As you know, as a legal journalist, we're covering this. Tell us a little bit about how this water crisis has affected your business.
We had some appointments yesterday, and they canceled because we do pay the dogs. So we had about 15 dogs that canceled yesterday.
Okay, so you had 15 dogs that canceled
15
yesterday.
That we had yesterday.
So
that's all didn't cancel because of the water.
That's just one day, and now we're on day 2, day 3, and you're your own business owner. How long have you had the grooming boutique for dogs?
38 years.
Oh my gosh. And so how many employees do you have?
I have 3 employees.
Okay, so you've still got to keep the lights on. You've got to pay these people.
Yes. We stay, open to answer the phones and
And you.
Answer phone and stuff like that. Yeah.
So again, let me repeat this: Grooming Boutique, and where are y'all located?
We're on Leopard Street in the Calallen area or Henry area.
Okay, very good. The Grooming Boutique over there by Leopard and right there by Cal Allen, and I think you said it was by, is it by Violet and Mackenzie?
Violet and Mackenzie, between Violet and Mackenzie, yes.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, we're here with Robert Salinas. He's the owner of Grooming Boutique. This water crisis has many ripple effects. It's not just people that can't bathe, can't wash their hands, can't drink the water, can't brush their teeth, but we have a business owner here that's in business 38 years, the Grooming Boutique, right off of Leopard and Mackenzie, and he lost 15 appointments yesterday. That's a lot of business, and you've been doing this 38 years. How many did you lose today? And it's only noon right now.
Today we lost so far 10 that we're gonna wait to,
and you're still having to pay your employees, and you're still having to pay the lights, keep everything on. We'd ask you, sir, to if you can come on a little bit later and see how this has totally affected you. We'd love for you to come on the show, and I also want to see. We all love dogs and cats too. You groom cats?
Yes, we sure do. Yes, sir.
Now, cats are high maintenance, aren't they?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so the water, pet owners, they're like a part of the family. They didn't want to be exposed to the water either. You couldn't even touch the water. That was what you were instructed.
I couldn't even touch the water, correct. Yes.
So this is just a nightmare. Mr. Salinas, if anybody out there listening that has suffered like Mr. Salinas from the Grooming Boutique that's on Leopard by Mackenzie, that's been in business 38 years, whether you're a dentist, whether you have a salon, whether you have a car wash, If you have any questions or input, we'd love to interview you. 887-8670. Mr. Salinas, thank you. We're going to have somebody get your information from you, Mr. Salinas, and be contacting you in the next 15 minutes. I want to thank you for being a guest on here and for always supporting Lopez Broadcasting.
Thank you, sir.
Robert Salinas, once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to sign off with him, but we want to thank him. 38 years in the business, and he's there on Leopard, and he is just one of hundreds of business owners that have been affected by this water crisis. You heard him. He's already lost 25 appointments, and that was just in a day and a half of this crisis, day 2 of the crisis that has begun with the water crisis here. And we're going to continue to play this throughout 2017 as well, because this problem's just not going to go away. We'll get through it, but how are we going to compensate these people? As we've heard from some super lawyers out there, Craig Seco, we've heard from Steve Kerrigan, that Valero and their subsidiaries, along with Ergon Asphalt and Emulsions, we're just getting this in, may have been responsible. And I say may because we don't want to assume things or facts that haven't been established yet, but they may have contaminated the water with a certain chemical, and we are finding out more about this chemical and studying it. And we'll be continuing with that information as we have right now. And now I need these, post 40 vision. But we're getting we got the notice on December 15th from the City of Corpus Christi news release that said, late today, an unknown chemical substance may have contaminated the city Corpus Christi drinking water due to a backflow incident in the industrial district. And bottled water should be used for all drinking, beverage, food preparation, making ice, brushing teeth, washing dishes or clothes, washing hands, and bathing until further notice. This is very, very serious. We're looking at indulin, INDULIN, if you all want to Google that, AA-86, that's indulin, INDULIN, AAA86. If you are a business owner, we'd love to interview you and give you a free plug. We're talking about businesses including restaurants, dentists, beauty salons, other businesses, and livelihoods that have been devastated by the situation. More people are calling in right now on the Facebook, and we're getting Twitter. You can go to KTMB website to voice your opinion about this water crisis. This is the 4th one, but this is the first one that we didn't have a boil advisory, that you couldn't even touch the water, and that's pretty scary. I'm getting calls from people that own pools. What am I going to do with the 12,000 gallons of water that I have in the pool? What's going to happen to my plumbing because of a possible leak? So we just have to remain calm. You've got to use the water, bottled water, until we get through this. But if you are a business owner, we want to interview you, want to hear your information and what you have to say. And you can also send us a video clip to KTMV Lopez Broadcasting, upload it on the Facebook site, or visit DM Productions, Diamond Dave Mendez, upload your video. Send your video. If you're a restaurant owner, if you're a business owner, if you're a dentist, if you're hopping mad and you have a business and you've lost money, let us know and we'll put you on TV and let us know what your business is, where the name is, where it's located, and we'll give you a free plug. Maybe, you'll back up some of that business, and we just want to try to help. We want to educate the public, but we also want to say, I'm a business owner as a lawyer and also a healthcare provider. I've been one for 25 plus years. And this is a very serious public dilemma. If you've been affected, give us a call, 887-8670, so we can interview you, or you can send your own video, upload it, and send it to us to KTMV Lopez Broadcasting on Facebook. That's KTMV Lopez Broadcasting, or Dave Mendez. You can reach out to him, DM Productions, and he'll be glad to load that up on his site. Let your voice be known. There are people picketing right now at the City Hall. There are people that are upset right now. There are attorneys that are getting involved with hardworking business owners in South Texas. We thrive not only on tourism, but dentists have been affected, beauty salons, restaurant owners, and many, many others. So if you want to get more information, 887-8670 is a magic number. If you want to get in contact with lawyers that do this kind of thing and want more information, 887-8670 is fine. And also, this is a public service message. This is not legal advice. This is not a solicitation for business. We are covering this as a legal journalist, and it's also my First Amendment right to do this. And we do that all the time, bring out information to people, and we want to go ahead and have people know that we're issuing out information from KTMB and press releases right now that the water leak happened on the early morning hours of 15th, and it's going on day 2 of this. And you've heard from Robert Salinas, the owner of Grooming Boutique, lost what, already 25 clients because of this water crisis. He can't take care of the pretty little dogs, cats, and what other animals he has. And he's right there off of Leopard and Mackenzie. Grooming Boutique, 38 years in business. Robert Salinas, you heard from him, personal interview, a man off the street, just a guy trying to pay his employees, keep his lights on. And this water thing affects everybody. It affects our children. People that are at home, please. There are water centers that are passing out bottles of water, but what about the people that can't get out of the house? Yesterday, we delivered over 10 cases of water to patients that were in their house homebound. If you've got a neighbor that can't leave the house, if you've got somebody that's been affected by this water crisis, please go visit them if they can't leave. If they're disabled, they're elderly, if you have small children that you know of, please help them out. And we're all sticking together as a community. Thank you all, and God bless. This is Joe Flores, South Texas Crossfire. Any information or input, visit us at KTMB Lopez Broadcasting on Facebook, or Diamond Dave's side, DM Productions, or Dave Mendez, or call us 361-887-8670 if you're a business owner and you've had economic loss from this. We'd like to hear from you. Thank you, and God bless.